All right, let's start this report by giving you the location. The map shows you the area of the Chickasaw National Park that has Arbuckle Lake, and you can see that I have three red X's on the map. The upper X is where I had my encounter at Rock Creek. The lower X is the sighting report from the lady camping, and then the X in the middle up towards the left will be where the footprints are found on Guy Sandy Creek. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this incident happened around 2010. I believe that's when it was, 2010, 2011. So it was almost 15 years ago. It was when I took my family down and we actually stayed in a camper for the first time. So we had to go out and stay by Arbuckle Lake.
Well, here we are, second day of our camping trip in the Chickasaw National Park. We're at the point by Arbuckle Lake, and when we arrived yesterday, I went and introduced myself to the camp host. He's an older gentleman who's worked here for many years, and I just straight up asked him if there'd been any Bigfoot reports, and he actually wasn't taken back by it at all. He said he's heard enough and seen a lot to think that he might indicate that these are real animals somewhere around here. He said, as a matter of fact, 2 nights before we got here, 2 ladies come up in the middle of the night from campsite number 9, and he said they were hysterical. They said somebody was looking into their campsite. A big dark figure was looking into their campsite, and he came down to the campsite, called a ranger, and had a ranger come down here, and they had all the people from the campsite come up. And it's a tent campsite, so you have to walk down to their campsite. And the ranger went down there and found where whoever this was in the woods had walked off to the west and in a ravine towards deeper woods. And they said that the being did not have a flashlight; it was just walking in the dark. So it's at least interesting. So we're going to go ahead and go down to the campsite. The people left, and no one else has used the campsite since, so we're just going to kind of go down there and look around. The camp host also said that last year, after 3 months of the Buckhorn area being shut off for the winter, well, he was one of the first ones to go in and unlock it, and he said when he went in there to unlock it, by one of the restrooms, he found a clump of hair. He said it was very coarse, about the size of a golf ball, dark hair that was very coarse. And he said there are no bears here, so he said he thought that was interesting too.
And as an additional note, the clump of hair was found on the end of a guttering, a sharp-edged guttering on top of the bathroom. So I'm assuming it was about 7 foot high.
I thought I was so
But I went ahead and gave the camp host one of our business cards. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't want to jeopardize anybody's job. And it would be nice to have somebody that lives here 24/7 to let us know if anything new develops. Well, the camp host brought me all the way down here yesterday, and he said the people were sitting at this campsite, or at this picnic table, and it was over in there in that ravine that's heading back in that direction was where the thing was, standing up watching them. So it was down in there, and I'm going to go down in there and just kind of look around, possibly try to scope out some hairs or maybe some foot impressions. The ground is not very conducive to good prints. As you can see, duff, rocks, sticks, leaves. But I'm still just going to go down there, take a wild shot in the dark, and maybe finding a hair that was snagged on one of the cedar trees. Oh yeah, and we do know that they're clearing out all the cedar trees around Veterans Lake, and it concerned us for the past couple years because we thought maybe they knew that the Bigfoots were here. They were taking away their cover. camp host told me last night, he said the reason they're taking out those cedar trees is because how much water. Each cedar tree needs about 2 gallons of water per day, and so he says they're clearing out all that stuff for drought conditions, things like that, so I have to take his word for it. Have the girls come down here with me and help me look for repairs. So far, not seeing anything. I mean, you know, as everyone knows, it's like a needle in a haystack trying to find any sign of evidence. But the camp host told me that the ranger that came down here did not look for footprints. They have to assume it was a prowler. They have to assume it is a person until they know for sure. And he said that the ranger came down with his flashlight and was able to follow the path that this thing took by the spider webs that were broken. So he said at night when you shine your light, you can see all these spider webs, but then you can see a clear path where they were broken. So, because yesterday when I walked down here, there was all kinds of spider webs that I walked through, so that there's some truth to that. But then again, you really can't see any kind of impressions on the ground. So, but it's at least an interesting story. Would love to have this guy be a part of our forum so that he could keep us updated from this area of any possible reports. So, okay, that's all.
And this is the area of Guy Sandy Creek where we are walking and we find footprints. And you can see that little field to the south is where I end up stepping into the field.
Yeah, we gotta come out right there.
Yeah. Here we are at Guy Sandy.
There was a trail that just went right through.
These are a lot smaller than our feet. All 4 of our feet.
A second sliding print tells us the direction that the feet were traveling, so I go up into the field to look and see if I can see anything.
Yeah. And is that like Because they were. But like Mom said, there's another little one over here that looks smaller than theirs.
Cool.
Now remember, those tracks were very fresh. As a matter of fact, there was a little bit of water pooling in the heel of that really nice print. The second print had a slide to it, which made me think that it was standing still and then went to take off as maybe we approached. So that's how fresh I think the tracks were. So the direction that the tracks were going was up the embankment and into this field. So that's why I climbed up the bank and was looking across this field to see if I could see anything. So there's probably a highly likelihood that it was probably just ducked down in this high grass somewhere. I wish I would have had the the knowledge then to just walk out into that field and look for some compression, some push downs and things like that. But I didn't. It's taken me a long time to learn some of those things. But here's the view of the field. And remember, this area of Guy Sandy Creek is only about 2 miles or less west of Rock Creek, the Rock Creek campgrounds, where I had my encounter with the large male and the 5.5-foot juvenile. So these prints, certainly look juvenile if they are Bigfoot prints. And I suspect they are because of how wide they are.
Well, here we are doing the Rock Creek Trail walk. How long did they say it was going to be? About 4 miles?
I don't know. I just saw the map. It didn't say what it was long.
Anyways, we probably won't do the whole trail, but we're going to go back quite a ways. And this is just the beginning, so signing off.
And ladies and gentlemen, this gives you a really good idea of just how thick the woods are around Rock Creek Campground. Once you get out of the campgrounds and go down along the creek, the woods were very, very thick.
Yeah.
And there you have it, folks. Just a very simple little report and the footprint findings in a very good location in the Chickasaw National Park. I believe David Wilbanks, who has the YouTube channel Bigfoot and More, He has a pretty recent sighting from this creek where someone was fishing and had an encounter. So you might look up David Wilbank's channel and try to find that report, because it was on this creek right here going into the lake, I believe.